Today is Saturday, and it's gonna be a busy day. So there's a lot of, let's say, logistics that need to be done today. I need to get water. I need to do some work on the 331, hopefully some block. I got to bring down the mountain truck. A lot of things to do. So, stage one, just hop on the ATV, get to the top, and bring the mountain truck down. Now, this will be the first time I really brought the mountain truck down with a load. Coming down the steep hill with all that weight of the metal. It's going to be interesting. So, hopefully today, this will be an interesting video. This will show you more of the what I have to do in the backgrounds to keep things operating. And we got something special too. Well, here she is. Haven't started her in a little bit, so probably about right after Sparks left. I parked it right here, so it's gonna definitely need some coolant since it's leaky, and make sure the air on the tires are proper so I don't lose my get off the bead. These are skid steer tires, and it's hard to tell when they have almost no air in them because this truck is so light that even with almost no air in it, it'll stay on. But if I hit a rock or something going down, they'll come off the rim. So I gotta make sure I got at least 18 PSI in them. So let's check that and get going. She's alive. Well, here we go. Loaded truck heading down the mountain. Only thing I don't like about these automatic transmissions is it's really hard for the engine to hold it back. Manual transmissions are always better on this spot. I can't have the camera on and hold it at the same time while driving at this spot. So when I get to a better place, we'll see how we're doing. Yeah, it was pretty good. We made it at the emergency pull out. We're on the flat. I just had my foot on the brake pretty much most of that, so I'm just gonna let the brakes cool for a second. And then I have to go down the next section, which is not actually as steep, except for this first 200-300 feet, which got pretty damaged from the flood. So this one's gonna need all my hands and all my attention. Don't have a good place to put this GoPro. If I can find a place. Right there. Oh, going pretty good. Got through that other area. Down here it's not nearly as steep. I got some big holes I just have to watch out for. Whoa. Right in this area. So we're almost at the bottom. So I will get back as soon as we get to the bottom. Well, made it at the bottom, but I gotta say, the brakes sure got hot. They're really stinking up the joint. So, I was having problems getting out the door here. So, yep, just gonna unload all this into the trailer and then load this thing up and take up some stuff to the top. Well, that's the tedious work of loading up the trailer with the metal. And when I get done, we get on to some more interesting things. Got the truck unloaded. So there's the trailer, there's the truck. But I gotta bring some stuff up onto this pickup truck here, the mountain truck, take to the top. Got something special underneath that bag. And I'll show you once I get everything else done, but we're gonna have to take this up, unload the stuff, then come back down and then get water. I made it up with the full load. It was a bit sketchy. Got it all unloaded and got some of the stuff here and put inside. And once I can go get the water and bring that up and get it starting to pump up, then we'll get to the surprise. So I'm gonna head down and then I'm gonna have to load some barrels into a truck and have a little drive to the nearby town, because I used to be able to get the water from a well nearby, but I can't get it from that well anymore, unfortunately. So until I solve my own problems on the water, I have to drive and pick it up in the 55-gallon drums. So let's get going again. Nice. I finally got the truck up with the water, got it hooked up and pumping to the upper tank. Now I lost pretty much all my solar panels but one panel, and it's just managed to keep this pump operating with that one battery. Don't know how long, but as long as that full sun is hitting the panel that's on this little building right here, it should still pump up to the tank. So now to show you the surprise. I was pretty surprised when I found out that there's some people at Harbor Freight that were very impressed with my place and really upset that I had a fire. So they sent me a little package. They sent me a welder generator. They brought the welding rod. I got the gloves. I got the helmet for it. I've got some more welding pieces, some drill bits, a torch, the titanium plasma cutter, and a spot welder. And I lost my wire feed welder, my miller in the shop, and another 2 welders and my cutter, and so I'm like back up and operating. Now this is like a 195 amp welder, not as big as my millers or whatever, but this might be a little more handy for moving around. So this is totally awesome. I wish to thank Harbor Freight. And I'm going to be trying it out because we're going to use today that welder generator and the helmet and gloves and some welding rod to fix the 331 as I have a crack. So I realized that I don't seem to have a grinder with me since it was burned in the fire. I'm going to use 6010 to blow down into deep inside and put a inside weld, and then I'll redo it with 7018 on the top. Weld on this side and then I'll weld on the other side. So the biggest thing is I'm going to need to take it out of the box and get it ready. Now today I'm not going to be using the plasma cutter and the spot welder tonight, but we'll be using welding rod and a bunch of this stuff, and I'm pretty interested in trying out the helmet. It's got the bigger view plate in it, and I've had issues with being able to see with some of the LCD helmets when they're only a small slit in it. So I'm going to see if this bigger face will allow me to see easier. So I'm going to put the stuff I'm not going to need into the Fortress for now, because what it looks like is I am going to take and use one of the lower rooms for a temporary little shop, and probably the one right behind those bricks there. And then I will put some of the other stuff that not going to be used yet down in the little lab at the underground. So well, let's get to it, get it ready, and then see about getting this thing fixed. Now after I get this thing welded, I'm gonna have to bring it back up, and then I have to pull that one ram apart to get new seals in it, because everybody there at Sparks Motors was all laughing that it was spewing hydraulic fluid, and I was going to get it repaired, but as we all know, things happen, lost certain stuff. So now I'm going to have to tear it apart, because I normally had spare parts for it, and I'll have to have Hydropack rematch up some seals for it. So I'm going to have to take it apart, bring the ram and the outer ring there to have it matched up. So I got a little bit of stuff to do now to get ready. So I'll be at it and back when we start to do the welding and or starting up the welder generator. Well, I'm just getting all the unpacking done, and now It looks like I have an issue. It looks like I've lost a screw right there. I'll have to look into my got a few small screws down in the little lab. So, what else we got in here? Okay, we got handles. Oh, some heavy-duty wheels. Okay, those aren't going to break. Some electrodes. What's this? Oh, there's the ground. Alrighty. Now, I knew there was a screw that came out of the box earlier today, and I don't know where it went. Must have been that one. So I will have to look for it for the battery. That's for the ground. So, all right. Okay, that's the instructions. All right, well, it looks like I've got some wheels to put on and dismount from off the pallet. The pallet shipping was a little bit rough. It came without part of the pallet broken off down there, so it was always going sideways. All right, well, let's get it put together and then start her up. Got the welder generator pretty much assembled. Looks like a nice unit. Very well made wheels. Those are heavy duty, and those are solid, so they're not going to go flat. I don't think those wheels will ever break. I sort of like the idea, if possible, if this thing works really good, not having the wheels or the handles and using that inside a truck out for recoveries. It's a nice little compact unit, and it's not that heavy. But I've come across the snag. According to the book here, high altitude operation above 3,000 feet. Well, apparently the thing comes set up for sea level to 3,000 feet. But according to me, according to the paper here, it says part 1A, I'm going to have to put in the carburetor main jet for 3,000 to 6,000 feet. Because we're at 5,100 feet. I mean, if I was like close, you know, just a little over 3,000 or whatever, I wouldn't bother. But I'm almost to go into the next jet, which is 6,000 to 8,000. So I need to change the jet for 3,000 to 6,000 feet. So I've got to figure out how to do that. I've got a little packet with the extra jets. But I'm going to now have to disassemble the carburetor and figure out how to do that. So hopefully I can get that done before the day's over. Otherwise I'm going to have to hold off doing the tests until tomorrow. So, well, it looks like things worked out. I can't believe it. I found me a bolt that fit the piece there, and in fact it almost looks like the same style that they use for the batteries. They're down in the lab. The lab has a few little drawers of small nuts and bolts, not like from my main supply, but that takes care of the missing bolt, and it works perfectly. So I've got the jets changed out. One of the things we're going to have to do now, I guess, is put some fuel in and then start her up. So let me go get the fuel. Well, everything looks good, but one thing. I'm not registering any oil in the machine. That's a problem. The shop burned. I don't have any of the oil here, but two, even if I did have the oil here, this has very small opening and it's recessed in to get oil in, so I'm going to need some sort of special funnel here to go in and come up. So I'm going to have to go down and stop at the auto parts store to find a fill unit that I can use to get the oil in there. So I'm not even gonna, I haven't even started it or anything. I've just been reading through the manual, making sure I'm doing everything proper. And so when I get the oil and it's recommending 1030, I'll get some 1030, put it in, and the amount of fuel I had was enough to get it a third of the way up. So guess I'm just going to put this away for tonight because the day's coming to an end. Plus, in order for me to get the oil and stuff, I've got to drive a long ways. So it's like an hour there, hour back. So that basically is the end for the day. All right, well, I guess we're going to continue this video tomorrow. Well, this is Sunday. I got the oil. And I found this little flex funnel at Walmart. That's also where I got the oil. And that really helps to be able to fill it, because there's not a really easy way to fill it without one of these. So I'm going to fill it up and we'll try to get this thing started. Now to start it. I have not even cranked it or anything yet. These are the welding leads. Look pretty much at all the instructions. Run off, put on, and then the choke is right over here. And then Well, it worked out really well. I mean, considering in order to load it, I got flipped over and then I had to refill it with the fuel. This thing started right up. And initially I had a little bit of a problem trying to figure out how to get the power, but on these things right here, you have to push these in order to get it to generate the power. So after I pushed that, it was able to run both this little air compressor and the grinder with only a slight hesitation while it was changing the current load on it. But that's only because this thing is sensing whether or not there's a load. So it's saving gas. I really like this. I mean, that little bit of a hesitation I would rather have that in a great gas savings than to have it like running full bore continuously. My old military generator there runs full bore and it will just suck gas like you wouldn't believe. And that runs a little welder, but since the welder is broken and I'm missing my leads, this thing is going to take its place. And I really like how it's the wheels. I mean, this thing is really easy to move around. I've been really impressed with how easy it rolls, and it's not that heavy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grind that out and try out the welding. And when I'm done welding, I'll show you the weld job and we'll see how well this thing welds. All the welding is done. I am really impressed by the welder generator. This is a really tough area to get into. I was able to weld up underneath and around the top, sort of hard to see right there. I got the line right there. So yeah, this was initially, I wasn't going to have this notch cut right here, but I didn't realize I had this fitting in the way, and that weakens this side right here. That's why there's a triangle piece, but even that triangle piece got broken. So got that welded up. So for today, I'm gonna have to pull this ram piece out, and this week then while I'm in Salt Lake, take it in a hydropack and get a seal kit made for it. But I'm really happy with this welder generator. I mean, I was surprised on how smooth it's operating. It ran this 3 horsepower air compressor, didn't even think twice about it. It's rated on the side as 6,500 watts on the power output, and then like about 195 amps on the welder. And once my heat got up to the welding temperature, I was only like maybe pulling about a little over half of the power that this machine handles, and it welded really smoothly. And since I did have some welding rod that survived the fire, I didn't want to try that out, so they sent me some of their own welding rod. Works great. Did the 6011 to blow into the crack, to go deep down into the crack to weld. And then I did the 7018 towards the surface, and it worked out really amazing. So I really like to thank Harbor Freight for sending this, and this helmet, this Vulcan helmet. I am impressed. It has a lot of different functions. This is like their top of the line, and it even has a grind mode, which I like the button to be able to switch so I can keep the helmet on and not worry about getting me some goggles for grinding. It's a little hard though. I have to flip the helmet up and then reach up and find the switch to keep switching it from back and forth mode. But I mean, I don't have any other helmets that do that. So, and this has a much wider face plate for better viewing. And even though it's a little more money than the others, I would buy this because it makes my welding so much easier. I'm able to see and have a better weld, and just it saves me so much. I bet you a day or two of work would just pay for this rather than getting a cheaper helmet. And I really like the gloves too. They're really nice. They're pretty thin, but I like that because I don't feel like I've got giant huge muffs on my hands. So that welded really good. They gave me enough lead just from the out of the box to reach it, and it worked really, really well. So I'm really happy about that. So my GoPro here is saying I have like almost no power and the SD chip's almost full. So what I'm going to do is I won't really show you me taking the RAM apart, but I'll show you what it looks like, and that will probably be for the end of the day on the video. So I got to get the RAM done and then head out. And then like in the sun is really, really bright. So I'm showing a lot in the shadow on my face, I notice on the GoPro. Well, got it all done. Got the RAM piston out. I will disassemble it some more, but I will do that down at work. And then I'll have new seals made for it. I remember one time that they said there were some issues about having this seal replaced, because I know it does leak internally right there, but then there's some seals down inside this, and those will need to be changed. So basically this new O-ring, actually that O-ring's probably still good, and then the dust seal, and then the main pressure seal there. And you can see there it is off there. I put a plastic bag on it right there. So I will basically this week get that taken care of, and then that will eliminate the huge leaky RAM that everybody's been sort of joking at work that I have. So, and one thing is with all the stuff I got from Harbor Freight, they basically liked my Fortress project, and when they heard about the fire, they did all this out of the for free. They didn't ask me to do any advertisements or anything for them, and I just was hoping that when I started up everything would work good, because I don't want to like do or say anything that would hurt somebody that was helping me out. So I'm so happy that it like just worked great. One thing I won't do is like if somebody wants me to display one of their products or anything, it has to be a good product. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I would just tell the truth, and a lot of times, you know, something may not work according to plan. But then you just work through it, admit your mistakes, and just start over and don't do it again. But I'm really happy with that. And I would like, I had the air compressor running on it at the same time I was grinding. And I'm looking at putting together, I don't have time right now to test out the titanium plasma cutter. But this looks like a really good sort of package to have this welder generator, the cutter, and then basically an air compressor, because you need the air compressor to run the plasma cutter. So had a little problem, ran out of memory on the chip, camera shut down, didn't have any more space. Took me a little while. I was able to open up enough space to just get a little bit of the end here. So just to reiterate, nice to have like the compressor and the welder generator and a plasma cutter. Gives you a pretty good group of tools for working up here. So yes, again, thanks to Harbor Freight, and I wish to thank all of my subscribers, everybody that donated after the fire, and I wish everyone an awesome evening. Thanks.